Shalom Akim, Shalom Akwathiam. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakradash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. It's your brother Benaim from the Great Millstone, Atlanta camp. And I came across this video earlier, and I considered this would be a phenomenal video to respond to. So not only is my video a response, but it's also somewhat of a spoiler alert, especially if you haven't seen this video in its entirety. I'm going to divulge some of the details that this man experienced in his dream after he received what he called the link. And we know through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Yahushai, that link that he's referring to is the neural link. It's also outlined in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, the 16th through the 18th verse. All right? When you go into that word mark there, it goes into the word charagma, which goes into the word karax, which essentially is referring to the RFID micro chip, okay? When the New World Order is implemented, that device is going to be made mandatory for you to function inside of that New World Order, right? You're going to need to take that device in your hand and or in your head to function in that world, in that realm. But those of us who are of the hopeful elect, we're not going to take this device because our hope, our faith, and our trust is already in Yahweh Yahushai, okay? Now, this dream that this man here, because I want to get back to this dream, you have to consider something. Even in the ancient world, our forefathers, they would take dreams and then they would interpret them, all right? And how do we know? Let's grab a few examples, because the scriptures tells us to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good, all right? First, we'll start with Daniel, and then we'll go to Joseph, because the scriptures also tells us that everything be established on what? 2 or 3 witnesses. Listen to the account in Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 2, and I won't read all of this because I want to get back to that dream very quickly here. This is Daniel chapter 2, verse 24 on down, and it reads, Then Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to execute the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, Do not execute the wise men of Babylon. Take me to the king, and I will interpret his dream for him. Arioch took Daniel to the king at once and said, I have found a man among the exiles from Judah who can tell the king what his dream means. The king asked Daniel, also called Belteshazzar, Are you able to tell me what I saw in my dream and interpret it? Daniel replied, No wise man, enchanter, magician, or diviner can explain to the king the mystery he has asked about, but there is a power in heaven who revealeth mysteries. Remember, the scripture tells us he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. All right, continuing on. He has shown King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen in the days to come. And that's what the Lord did to this man in his vision, or Salakia, this dream that we're about to play out here. He showed him what is to happen in the days to come. Your dream and the vision that has passed through your mind as you were lying in your bed are these. As your majesty was lying there, your mind turned to things to come, and the revealer of mysteries showed you what is going to happen. As for me, this mystery has been revealed to me, not because I have greater wisdom than anyone else alive, but so that your majesty may know the interpretation and that you may understand what went through your mind. Let's come from here. Let's grab a quick precept in the book of Genesis, Salakia, in the book of Genesis, chapter 41. We'll jump right down to verse 12, and it reads, and this is when Joseph is interpreting the dream that Pharaoh had. Verse 12 tells us this, a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain guard. When we told him, he interpreted our dreams to us, giving an interpretation to each man according to his dream. Now, let's come out of this here, right? Let's go right to this man's dream here. And of course, YouTube, I'm utilizing this under the Fair Use Act again, fair use. Not only do I want you to listen to the details, but I'm going to share this with you as well. After this man was promised all of this money if he took this device, okay? He lost full control of his mind and his body. Hey, listen to the details. Listen to the details, Salakia. And per usual, I'm going to chime in momentarily. Listen closely.
Alright guys, I just had another dream. I don't know why God is giving me these dreams lately, but it shook me to the core. And it's 2 a.m. right now. Not a good time to post on TikTok if you want views, but it's the same exact thing that happened to me a few days back with that first dream that I had. But I tried to go back to sleep and God told me, go put this out. So here I am. I'm just going to talk and tell you what I experienced this time. It was probably one of the most real dreams that I've ever experienced. And I was laying down and I just went into like this deep sleep. And I do a business on the side with some great people all throughout the world. And it's with social media and all this other stuff. And I was working with someone who is overseas, and they said, "Hey, you gotta see this. It's this new technology that is going to make our business so much easier and flow so much better, and it's going to be a lot less personal effort for you because throughout the day, right now, you spend 10 hours doing what you do. This is going to eliminate it and be simultaneous, and you're almost not going to have to do any work." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, this sounds great. Yeah, let me hear about it." So I'm in my dream, and he goes, I want to introduce you to someone." And I'm like, "Okay." So he put together a group chat for us, and I'm going back and forth, and I can't figure out who I'm talking to. It's like the person is brilliant. They're saying all of these things. And they said, "In order for me to make your life so much easier and make all of this money, the money's going to be like tenfold. I'm going to need access to your personal system."
And what he means by his personal system, he means his brain. I want to refer back to that money that he was promised, all right? Remember, the scriptures tells us that this devil is going to deceive many into receiving that mark, the charagma, that RFID micro C hip, all right? Let's continue on.
I don't know what that meant. That's what I heard in my head. And I'm like, "What do you mean personal system?" He said, "Let's try a few things out and you'll get what I'm saying." And I said, "All right, I'm gonna go with caution, but show me what you need me to do." And they said, "All I need you to do is download this database." So he sent me this link, and I clicked on the link and I hit approve, and it shot through all of, I can't even explain it, but it shot through. When I clicked that link, I started seeing everything get downloaded, almost to like this cloud base of my memory, my business. All of these numbers were popping up. The things that I do on the side for my side business, it was all being basically put on this cloud-based software, and it was being downloaded, and almost like my brain was being downloaded.
And what do you mean by his brain was being downloaded? He means he clicked the link, and by that he took what? The mark, okay? All right? That's what he means by his brain was being downloaded when he clicked the link. Let's proceed.
In the air. And he goes, "All right, let's try it out." So I hit approve, and I said, are there going to be any like long-term effects? I don't know if I want my information out there like that. And he says, "It's already too late. You might as well give it a go now." And I said, okay, like I was very hesitant, but I was like, all right, we'll try this out because I trust my friend. I trust this guy who introduced me to this person that I had not seen. So we do a couple of these things for my business, and it goes so well. Everything was done in a matter of minutes, and the money that I was making was so much money from doing this thing that I was like, oh man, this is pretty amazing. And he goes, well, I'm going to take it a next step. I'm going to take it a step further. Instead of you actually having to do the couple clicks, the things that you need to do, I'm going to control it for you. I said, what do you mean you're going to control it for me? He said, I'm stronger now because I have access to everything about you.
Now, very quickly, in my humble opinion, that's where AI comes into play here, that artificial intelligence, because the elect, we're not going to take this device, all right? The scriptures tells us we shall not, Leviticus the 19th chapter, to make no cuttings in your flesh. We're not going to take this device in any forms or fashions, all right? This is where transhumanism comes into play, because once you take that device, it's going to be the merger, that fourth industrial revolution, the merger of what? Man and machine, okay? Make no cuttings in thy flesh. If you take this device, you are going to be destroyed. But nevertheless, let's proceed here.
And you will see, don't worry, you will see there are benefits from this. It's going to be great. And in my dream, I'm like, all right, weird, but okay, yeah, let's go for it. So all of a sudden, all of these things started happening that I was doing that I could not control. And I had this vision of someone controlling me, almost like a video game. But it wasn't physically doing this stuff. It was all done through my mind. And it was connecting all the pieces together. Everything that I do every single day for work, he was doing it. And it was a guy. He was doing it for me. And I was like, this is incredible. Like I feel like he took over my mind. And he's like, I have taken over your mind. You've given me access to your mind. When you opened up the link, you gave me access to your mind. And now I have full access to your body. But don't worry, I'm going to make you richer than you've ever been before. So again, he kept promising this. And I reached out to my friend. I was like, I need to talk to this guy because he's starting to freak me out. And the guy jumped. He as soon as I said outreach to my partner, it's like it got blocked. And I was only dealing with this guy that took over my body and took over my mind. And he said, no, you only work with me for now. And it freaked me out. And he said, just trust me. And I was like, I'm trying to trust you, but you have full control over me. Like, can I ever get full control of myself again? And he said, no, you're never going to get full control of yourself because you are now mine. And it dug deep. And I was like, you can't have control over me. I said, this is my body. And he goes, watch. And all of a sudden he moved my arm on my own, or on his own. I had no control over it. My entire arm was numb, and it was my right arm. And I was trying to break out of this dream. I started realizing that I was dreaming, and all of these numbers again were popping through my head. Memories with every act that I did, or every act that he did, he got stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like the software was downloading to him. I know this sounds crazy. I don't know what it means. I have a feeling, but I'm just going to keep going with this. So I broke out of my dream, and I caught myself in between a state of asleep and awake, and I was talking, and I said, just don't control my body anymore. Don't control my body anymore. And when I woke up, again, in this dream state, I couldn't move my arm. It was literally like it was controlled. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm never going to regain my body ever again. And all of a sudden, I went right back into my dream state. and I was going to talk to this guy. I finally had the opportunity to talk to him, and I opened up this door to go into this room, and it was a guy sitting in this chair, but I couldn't see his face. Everything was dark. And he said one more time, "You are mine." And then I woke up. That was terrifying, to say the least. And God told me that I need to put this out right now. And I don't know if I got very strange vibes of the last days. And when I woke up, I knew it had to do with the beast system. That there is going to be so much control and so much wealth and so many promises behind what is to come with the mark of the beast. I know it is from God. That we will not, once you give this up, once you give full ownership to your mind and body, whether it's a chip, whatever it is, it's a software download that he showed me, that once I gave full access to this man, I no longer existed myself, and I could not control the things that I did anymore. And it was almost like a video game that he controlled me through my body and through my mind.
Stop there, right? This is the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter, the 9th and the 10th verse. And a third angel followed them and said with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image," what's the beast? All right. That's NATO and the EU, the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And America is the whore that sits on top of the beast. What's its image? That's its system. And receive its mark on their forehead or on their hand. Verse 10. This is the judgment. They too will drink the wine of Yahweh's fury, which is poured out in full strength into the cup of his wrath. They will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb. Call halal Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Shalom.